And here we are, live in the internet. Awesome. Hello world, hello internet. Welcome to Everyone Quiet, the last show of Wine Time Photo Rave. No crying, okay, that's good. Our show where we talk about photography in video games and we drink things. I'm Amalama, and I'm joined by my other dame, which is Mrs. Livin.
Hello.
And our huge round of guests. Like, really a lot. We have 5 people here. Just one of our guests couldn't make it, Matt, who is sadly working. Or maybe not sadly, because he's working, so that's probably a good thing. But it means he can't be here. But we have, so usually we start up with saying what we're all drinking and do a bit of small talk. But we have managed to have one person here who usually couldn't be here, which is Phoenix. Hello, Phoenix.
Hi, everyone.
And he's a bit on a tight schedule, so we are just gonna jump right in and talk about his work first, and do all of the what you're drinking talk after that. But I'm just gonna introduce our guests first, so you know who's here. So you already heard Phoenix, who is How Curious on Twitter. And then we have Isin on Twitter.
Hi.
And we have Neo Fulcrum.
Hello.
And Carmo, Rider Warrior on Twitter.
Hi, everyone.
And Adam, who's Adam Bomb 2MK on Twitter.
Hey guys.
Sweet. So, what'd you say? Shall we just jump right into Phoenix Rack?
Say so.
Sweet.
I concur.
I'm sorry, what?
I concur. Let's do it.
I concur.
Do it.
There we go. It's this awesome image from Red Dead Redemption 2. Of Sadie, I think, yeah.
Yes, it is of Sadie. It's prior to the mission when Sadie and Arthur go together to take revenge on her husband's killers.
Oh.
I think it's a memorable mission.
It's the one before you go to Hanging Dog Ranch, isn't it? And take out the remaining
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guns blazing.
Great mission, yeah.
Shall I start?
Yeah, so please do.
So this is Sadie Adler, and prior to the mission, when you approach her, you can see her throwing knives to a tree trunk, and she does this continuously. And when she runs out of knives, he goes to the tree trunk and pulls them up and starts again, which is really a nice detail. Like, imagine her throwing knives all day without stopping, infinite ammunition. So it caught my eye, and I took a couple of shots of the capture. With this capture, I think that it doesn't really portray that much, but when you look into the mission, when you look into her life, when you look into what she had to endure from the very first mission of the game till her saga ends, you can see that I think it quite upholds the title of A New Beginning, maybe. So when she and Arthur go to their hideout in order to kill the O'Driscolls without no plans, she just goes there and starts shooting, kills anyone in sight, and finally stabs the last O'Driscoll with a knife. Now, when you look at the picture, you can see that Sadie is actually covered in the blood of her enemies. And right now, she has nothing left her going. Like, there's no resolve in her. There's no, what can I say? There's no drive in her to keep her life going. She has done what she intended to do, and that was to have her revenge. And all that remains now is, I think, is just Sadie Adler, a widow with nothing left, and she just picked the short straw in life, and she had nothing to do with it. It just happened. She had everything taken away from her. So I think that this is the moment where awakening begins, where she, where it had to happen. This entire incident had to happen so that she could start a new life, so that the death of her husband couldn't hold her down. I'd say that. And after she had her vengeance, she had her revenge. I think that she started anew with it. You could see that she kept going for her husband, and after she killed everyone, she had a revenge. She went for the family members she had in the gang, for Tilly, for Arthur, for Abigail, John, Jack, and I think this was a new chapter in her life. Uh, she started. She be, I think she was a bandit. No, when you
Yeah,
play as
probably.
John.
Yeah.
Well, she becomes a bounty hunter,
He,
don't she? Like when
exactly,
you play
exactly. I'm
the
sorry. I'm
when you play
sorry.
the
Bounty hunter. Yes,
epilogue, yeah.
when he plays John, she is a bounty hunter. I think that she is a bit happier than she had been than when you first meet her in the game. Like, she found something that kept her going, and I think that it's a new beginning for her. That's it, I suppose. I'm actually not a talker.
That's right.
I thank you.
Yeah, it gives me chills listening to that particular storyline or that moment she's going through. She's always been a powerful character to me among a lot of the Red Dead characters, but especially since the story kind of starts with like saving her from what happened. What made you decide to go with black and white imagery with this?
Oh, I don't think there was a particular motive behind it, but for me, it's very hard to capture with that shots because there isn't a brightness slider, or
Mm-hmm.
there isn't the slider by which you control the time of day. And Red Dead is a world which, playing on the base PS4, it's filled with contrast. So whenever I try to take a capture, it's all quite dark for me to get it. And I think it also had been kind of luck that as I was approaching Sadie to start the mission, it was midday or noon, and I could see the slight silhouettes of the mountain or the grayish one. And I think that this filter actually got everything that I wanted to have. You could see the knife, you could see her arm, you could see her ponytail. It's a distinct feature of Sadie, as in at a glance, if you showed someone who played Red Dead, okay, who is it? It's Sadie Adler. Like, they would recognize her instantly.
Definitely.
Yeah. I picked this image because I like the fact that it's a silhouette. I like the technique that you used on it because it's like an additional layer of meaning about like when you talk about her story and then the journey she's been on and the actions that she's taken and the actions she's going to take. Um, the to me this image uh, because that silhouette reiterates that message from just taking out the color, just it's like straight, here's the image that you have, right? Like the silhouette. And I think that's a really nice touch on it, whether intentional or not. To me, it's like a happy, kind
I'd,
of a happy
I'd say
that
that. Yeah,
decided to go with that. And the other thing I like about it is just the composition is really nice. I like how she's framed by the trees on the left and the right, and I love this loose tree. That's like this tree, not tree, but a loose leaf.
To leave, yeah.
Below- Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like she's aiming at it.
yeah, but typically when I see stuff like that, like when I play Odyssey, like Odyssey is notorious for leaves and flies and all sorts of stuff. I'll sometimes like, clean that stuff up, but it works in your composition to me. And I like that. And it's, I don't know if I'm going to sit here and put like, oh, and then the leaf represents the soul of the whatever. But I like that it's in the composition. I think it kind of adds to that, the natural nature and that's framing her in this. And of course, the body language. I will never not talk about body language. But like you said, when I see this, I know it's Sadie. And in that pose, it's a very powerful pose, and it's an action pose, like right before you throw the knife. So it just has a lot of nice layers to New Beginnings in that. Just well done. I just love this image. It's very
It's
nice.
funny. It's funny that you mentioned the leaf because it's really it's very there, right? And usually you would go like, oh, this is just disturbing and kind of annoying me, but for some reason it's fine being there. Like it doesn't disturb anything, and that's even yeah, that's kind of surprising. It you can almost if you want to see it funny, see her like go with the knife. I wasn't sure she was throwing knives, like I didn't know that, and I thought he was just using the knife to cut through air, and then there's the leaf like I'm gonna get you, like attacking the leaf, but it's not disturbing somehow.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't distract from the image. And you could have easily have taken it out, but I actually like that it's in because of the way my eye moves around this silhouette. And then it kind of moves from left to right, and I see the leaf, and then I go and look at her. And the other thing that's interesting about New Beginnings, or the concept of New Beginnings, is you're letting go of one thing and moving on to another. And so I think the interesting thing about this, random leaf is it's actually moving from one place to another. It's coming off the tree, and it's
Oh, now you're going deep.
yeah,
So
I know,
metaphorical symbol, as in
because it's just it just
you can
works.
coincide this with yes, you can coincide the leaf with Sadie, as in it fell from
Absolutely.
the tree, isn't it?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's on its way down,
Yeah,
and it's midway. So just as Sadie is, and when it reaches down to the ground, Sadie has started her new beginning. Perhaps the leaf been could have been the it could symbolize the end of her previous life.
right. Absolutely. And that's what I like about that, because part of some imagery when we work on, like if you work on a mostly fall landscape to a spring landscape, there's that transition, right? Like the whole purpose of fall is for trees to lose their leaves and then come back into spring. And to me, that's an additional touch that you may not realize it, but if you look at it deeper, you can see that into that. It's just nice. It's just a really overall well done. I love it. It's
Thank
a
you
good
so
choice.
much.
You can find I'll get my little notes here. Uh, uh, Phoenix is on Twitter at HALKYRIS. It looks like you have a lot of really cool landscapes of Hero Zero Dawn at the moment, and looks
Thank
like
you.
you're playing Horizon.
I am,
right?
yes.
Yeah, and your captions for your photos are just lovely.
Thank
They're
you
just
so much.
yeah, they're very nice. So
I
yeah,
made them up on the go, so I think they might be silly.
oh no,
Oh no,
oh,
no.
not at all. Well, in your profile, you say you do poems, and I was like, yeah, I can see that because your captions are just really very lovely. And yeah, please check them out on Twitter. So it's a great feed, especially with the landscapes
Thank,
you're doing for Horizon Zero Dawn. They're magnificent, really beautiful.
thank you so much. Thank you too for
Yeah.
having me here.
Oh, you're very
Oh,
welcome.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, next, how about we go back to the beginning, like a new beginning? See what I did there?
Okay.
Awesome.
That sounds good.
Nice.
Let's find out what everyone's drinking and how they've been and how they're feeling. So, for myself, I stick with my latest hobby of picking out drinks that you can't pronounce. So today I'm drinking Ein Dudler.
Say what?
What's
Ein
that?
Dudler.
I'm sorry.
Sounds German.
It is German, yeah. It's actually Austrian, I think, even. It's another herbal lemonade, originally from Austria, and it's one of those things that basically have been around forever, but no one ever drinks them. But then once in a while, somehow you're reminded that it exists, and you get a heap on it, and you get like a whole crate, and you drink all of them, and then you just forget it exists for a couple of more years. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually drink it, but yeah, from time to time you really just find it again and then you drink it. It's just herbal lemonade.
Herbal lemonade. All right.
What are you having, Misters?
I am having my standby, which is a fresh Coca-Cola out of a bottle, which means it's from Mexico and not bottled in the U.S. And so the cane sugar is different. But yeah, so I've been trying to cut back on sugar. So when I get a chance to have sugar, it's always going to be a Coca-Cola because it's like having a good beer. It just chills me out.
Nice.
It's so, yeah.
Is it from? Did you say it was from a glass or a can?
Yeah, it's from the original Coca-Cola bottle. So it's like a 16 ounce, not like a 20 ounce. And
yeah, we don't know what that is. Like most
yeah.
of us don't know what that is.
If you look at the American size Cokes, you have teeny tiny, which is, maybe like a cup of Coke, and they bottle it all differently. And then you can advance up to a 2 liter, which is just like a child size Coke. Let's just put it that way. Not a child size Coke. That's the size of a child. So, they make sure that if you're addicted to Coke, you can get whatever size you want. And so finding Coke bottles and glasses, which is probably about 2 or 3 cups of Coke, is typically comes from Mexico. Because they don't put a lot of stuff in their Coke. It's just really sort of a different recipe. And so every so often I'll get those instead of sort of in a can or plastic. But they're good because you open, they're super fresh.
I do realize we do talk a lot about Coke in the show.
Yeah, at this point we should be getting money from Coca-Cola just because I keep talking about it. But I doubt if those old dudes know what's happening.
Those days are no over, so it's gone. We missed it. We missed the chance.
To find a sponsor. So,
well, we did our best.
We did our best. We did. That's correct.
All right. Well, Isin, what are you drinking?
I'm just having a Sprite with like the mini can, very tiny one.
Nice.
I also don't drink much sugar.
So it's also a special day then?
Yes.
Sweet. Well, Neo, what do you have?
I'm having apple cider.
Oh, nice.
Because for dessert we had apple pie, so I saved some for the show.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Is it something we would know, or is it a local produce?
It's not local because you don't have apple cider where I live, but it's from the northwest of France.
Oh, nice. I always found the French cider is a bit different than the British cider. It's a lot more apple-y and less sour. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but I don't know because I never had the British one.
Then I don't buy that. Yeah,
I
that
don't even-
doesn't cross my house.
I don't even know if they sell it in the local store here.
Oh, probably not. There's probably a ban on it or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, the French are very they want the French one. There is even a battle between French, the Britain part of it's called Britain, like la Bretagne and
Mhm.
Normandy. It's two different brand, and if you're from different part of France, you don't mix that. If you buy one, you buy one. You don't buy the other.
Oh, that's like German beer. You don't buy northern beer if you're from the south and the other way around. But they do taste different too.
Yeah, they don't. But to me, but perhaps for some other
Right,
people,
right,
they taste
right.
different. But to me, it's the same. I don't want to make enemies, but
Yeah, I think
It's
it just depends on what you use. So.
yeah, sure.
Right. So, Karma, what are you drinking?
Well, today I'm having sparkling spring water, but the flavored kind. It's sugar-free, so it's not sweet. It's just the flavor. I'm having strawberry and mint, and it's produced by a company called Woolworths. And I'm having it in a
Sounds
glass.
very fancy. Do you have like little apples and mint leaves in there, and like a little straw, and and probably like a mini umbrella or something?
I wish. No, it's just plain in a glass, so it's just the little crystal bubbles and
It
to be
sounds
honest,
very fancy.
It sounds fancy, but it just looks normal. and to be honest, I taste more mint than strawberry, so yeah.
Oh.
Normally the sugary ones they make you more thirsty, so this one's okay. You don't. It's not sweet at all.
Nice. Well, Adam, what are you having? Let me guess.
You know what I'm having.
Is it a Foster's?
It is indeed. It's a Foster's, my standard go-to beer. I did
Well-
look at some others, and then it was actually on offer in the shop, and I was like, well, I've got to buy that now. So yeah.
I don't even remember because Adam complained, so to say, for being called the Foster's guy. I don't even
never
remember who
complained.
called you that.
I can't remember either. It was on a comment after the show, and someone was like,
I think so.
"Oh,
Yeah.
you're the Foster's guy." I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So yeah, I thought, you know what, I'll stick to my name.
Nice.
It's kind of Australian, but it's not actually brewed in Australia. It's brewed in Europe. There you go.
So that was opening it. Nice. For the effect. Now you're gonna go glug 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 and just some.
No, it's already open. That was
Oh.
me just putting it back on the table.
Right. Well, Phoenix, what are you drinking?
I'm having a cup of tea and I've put some spices in it: cumin, bay leaves, crushed ginger. I think those are it. Yes.
Oh, nice. That sounds
That
pretty
does-
good too.
It does, yes. My mom made it for me, and the taste is stuck. And now that's my go-to cup of tea. Yes, when I'm at home, that is.
Oh, that sounds just lovely.
Does. I love ginger.
And it's pretty late where you're at too, right? So, like a
It's
coat
11:30.
wouldn't be appropriate, yeah.
No, I don't think that tea would have been appropriate either, since it seems I am addicted to it and it doesn't have any effect on
Ain't we all,
me.
mate? Ain't we all?
So I can go on without counting, and I might just sleep quite well at night.
Well,
Of course,
usually
with
if you have a
coffee as
couple of
well.
beers, you can usually sleep like really well.
No, we don't do alcohol.
Is Is it a black tea?
Yes, it is. It works with milk tea too.
Oh, nice.
It works both of those ways.
Sweet.
Nice.
All right. Got that settled. Anyone wanna say anything about drinks anymore? No, apparently
Like-
not.
What about food?
Again.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not. Is anyone eating anything? Like, I'm not eating because I'm talking. I mean, I could, but then I guess the stream wouldn't be so much fun for everyone listening.
Like crunching on a bag of crisps.
Yeah, like. So, what do you think? Oh, Mark's drinking his usual too.
See on JD, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is he on JD? That sounds like he's getting an intra. What do you call it? Right in the vein. All right. So, shall we move on to the next image?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good. All right, and the next up we have Mason with an image from Cyberpunk 2077, which she titled Into the Unknown. Now, apart from giving me a constant earworm since then, kind of a funny story because I saw it on my personal account and thought, oh, this is a perfect entry to the theme, and was kind of disappointed when it wasn't because it didn't have the hashtag. But in the end, it ended up as an entry, which made me really happy. So tell us a bit about the shot.
Yes, so, well, it doesn't have a lot of context to it, but like you say, I titled it Into the Unknown. It was my last VP shot of the year. And a bit after I posted it, I saw the post about this being the last show and a new beginning. Like, it fitted so well, so I decided to add the hashtag anyway. And that's it, actually.
Oh wow! So this was the last one of your show.
Yeah. Though of the year, my last post of the year. Yeah.
Of the year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
That was me mixing up. Oh, Phoenix, you have to go already. Apparently so. Thank
I
you
do,
for being
yes.
here.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing. Uh, I really had thought that I'd just write up something and send it to you, but at the last moment I didn't. Like, I was debating with myself whether to join it or not.
Oh, well, we're very happy that you did, and we're very thankful for all your continuous support.
Thank you both. Specifically, thank you so much.
Thanks, and have a great
I
night.
have to go.
Take care, man.
Good
See
night.
you later.
Bye.
Good evening.
Take care.
Bye.
It's kind of funny that you said it doesn't really have much of a story, because for me, it had so much of a story. I don't know if but I obviously I made it up because it doesn't. But yeah, that's really
Well,
funny.
that's the purpose. You need to have your own story to it.
Right. That's kind of why we make art, isn't it? Well, the first thing that spoke to me in the shot was actually the game it's from, and the genre the game belongs to, because cyberpunk in general radiates kind of that feeling of new beginnings and adaptation. After all, it's the basic idea of freedom versus corporate, and self-optimization, and cyber versus naturalism and all that. So it just from that game, it fits perfectly with the theme, I think. And in the shot itself, what struck me was the great work with leading lines in it and contrast.
Yeah, I love doing that.
Yeah. It's a very prominent one-point perspective that all lines lead to the horizon, which is exactly where you would think the future to be, or expect the future to be when you think about new beginnings, like somewhere on the horizon. So, and additionally, the most prominent lines, which are these neon lights somewhere on the right, which is otherwise completely dark, um, they all lead to the left part, which is only light and bright. So the right, and having part of the image that is dark cover 2/3, whereas the part which is light cover 1/3 of the image, kind of has that feeling that dark parts can be longer and harder, or you experience them longer and harder, but there's always that bright light somewhere on the horizon, even if it's much smaller and much further away.
Wow, I like that. That's good.
Oh, that's cool! See,
Yeah.
so much you can make up of no story. And even that wide field of view you picked, which distorts the car somehow, that is closer to the camera, gives the shot the feeling of movement that I think you wanted probably, and it also
Yeah.
conveys the impression that the car is actually moving. And all of that is mirrored in the title, Into the Unknown.
Yeah.
So the image is basically saying we're going full speed into the future, even if we don't know what lies there.
Exactly. That was kind of the meaning.
Oh, sweet! I
Yeah.
got it right. What about the title? Like, I don't know if you know that, if you're a Disney person, but that's a title from a Frozen song.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
yeah.
That's where it came from.
That's where it came from. Good. Did you have any like connection between the shot and the song, or did you just have it in mind, like
I
I
had it-
do for a week
I had
now?
it in mind. Maybe it was even playing. Usually when I edit, there's some music going on, and sometimes the timing is so perfect. I hear a line, and I'm like, okay, that's the title.
That's
But,
what I do too.
yeah.
It definitely sent me into like a YouTube spiral and to rewatching that scene like
Yeah.
a couple of times, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And also the Panic at the Disco version, which just made it into my daily playlist now. It's been going on for since I started preparing for the show. It's just been going on repeat.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for that. um,
Ear-
sorry, please go on.
no, songs that are earworms.
Yeah. Um, songs that go on repeat in your head are earworms.
Right.
I
Or
don't know what
to
you
me,
call them.
earworms.
Okay, cool. Because I thought I made that up. Like, it's a German one. It's a German
Oh,
expression.
is it? No, I call it earworms. They're worming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
What I found especially interesting too about the title and the song and the scene Elsa sings it in, even though it was just the title going on in your head and it's not completely based on it, it's still in relation. So the scene and the song tell of a force pulling you forward into the unknown because somehow you feel you're not at the right place where you're at. And in some way, the whole cyberpunk genre kind of plays exactly with that feeling. Like, what is right, what's natural, what's human, what's good, what's evil. It's a story of searching and finding yourself in a world that doesn't feel right for you.
Yeah.
Like, or that you don't belong.
Well, to me, it was kind of about all of that, but you're so much better at wording it.
Aww.
For me, it's more a feeling, but you are good at explaining that.
Well, it took me a while to write that out too. I picked the image because that's exactly the feeling I got, and that's always how I pick things. It's the feeling first, and then I think about, okay, why do I have that feeling, and try to put it into words, so I don't just go, well, this felt good on the show. Like it wouldn't make for a good show.
Oh, thank you.
So that's why I try to put it into words. Look at us, linking Frozen to Cyberpunk. Awesome, right? if that's not hard. All right.
Okay, so you can find Instant on Twitter, and you're currently still playing Cyberpunk. You can see that on your feed, and you have some really sweet Kina images. You're also on Instagram, and it looks like you've also played Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
You have some nice
Oh
shots from that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, some really beautiful ones. And yeah, so Twitter and Instagram. Next.
All right. Next up, we have Karma with a shot from Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Nice.
Oh, and that was the whole set was a combination with the Mood Challenge. So it was combined with the song Where We Come Alive by Rel. I think it's Rel.
Yeah, it
And
is.
because we can't play the song in the show for copyright reasons, I'll put the link down in the description. And I urge you to look at Karma's set and listen to the song after the show for the full experience.
Yeah, I really like how even with the mood challenge, it really it works well for our show, and I just love the whole concept of listening to music and being moved by it and applying that to the VP medium, which is nice. Karma, would you like to tell us a little bit about your shot?
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but this year I've been playing a lot of Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was like my go-to game in 2021. This particular shot, I actually have a bit of a funny story. It's actually an underwater shot. So the photo of her taken was underwater, and it was taken in Chapter 7 in The Lost Legacy, in the pools right before the library with the altar to the tusk. So I really, really like the lighting in that pool area. So for me, when I saw the theme New Beginnings, this shot like really spoke to me, especially when I had it in the set. And like you said, if everyone goes and looks at the set and places it with the song, you'll see the whole story like playing out for the New Beginnings. For me, I when it comes to visual photography, I take like hours in like one specific area, and with this, I think I took like maybe 2 hours because I always like playing with the camera and different positions, and then the lighting, of course. If I think everyone knows me as the lighting girl. And so yeah, I was playing around with diving in and under and coming out of the water because I was actually trying to get a shot of her like just like emerging out of the water, but I never got to that. I think I landed up taking just before she got out, and the lighting underneath the water was quite bright, and it it just like has this warm feeling to it when you look at it, and she's looking up and the light's shining on her. And for me, it for the New Beginnings, it's like in the light, you come alive, right? And it's like about beginning that new journey of like leaving whatever you had, um like you're holding on to something and it's time to let go. And if you look really closely, she's like smiling as well, so that was really nice. It's like that feeling of she's letting go of her past, and she wants to start a new beginning, um and start probably a new path. And at the end of the day, it's all about being humble and true to yourself and who you are, and to start again. So yeah, and also not to like hold on to any um like grudges and all of those things. So I know everyone has like a hard time, and I know you get those people like that constantly like live in dark places, but you know there's always a way to find the light no matter where you are. Even in the darkest of places there's always light to be found, and um it's just about letting go, having peace with inside yourself, and moving on, and start thinking of what the future could be and what could hold for you inside as well. So yeah, and yeah, so this was actually underwater, and also like if you think of it, water also represents like a new beginning. So it like also washes you clean and everything. So it really ties in and fits in with the theme as well, which was really cool. And I thought it would be really appropriate to just show off the shot, and I hope it like touched a lot of people, especially with the music, um, because I like to share meaningful things, and I also just like to share my heart and who I am. Um, and I hope it really reached a lot of people. So yeah.
I love this shot. Well, the all four images are beautiful and they work really well together. But I really love this one. Just really caught my eye. And you said the shot itself is underwater, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I love this. I would have never guessed that, but which makes kind of sense the way her eyes look, the gloss or whatever that's on her eyes. It's just such a beautiful image, and it's very powerful just because she's like looking up. So there's it just feels like she's not just looking up, but there's like an emotion in that, and you can really kind of. I love that you can somehow see that in her eyes. And I love the lighting that you do have on that when you look at sort of the wisps of her hair that's just, floating or whatever, which I thought would be like wind, but it just works really well. It's a nice detail. And I also like the fact that you used sort of a grayscale filter on it versus like a really sharp black and white. But because it also softens it up, but it also really adds to um, the sort of weird. I keep coming up with the word vibration, but there's like this like really positive vibration about it, and that sort of softness with that grayscale works really well. What made you decide to go from color to grayscale with these?
Well, I found the color was a bit too distracting, especially in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's wearing a red top and the background was kind of dark. And for me, it just didn't really work as well as the black and white um, filter that I used. I think it was actually the Noir filter in the Uncharted photo mode that I used. But because of the lighting coming from above in the cave, um, it like brightened up the shot more, giving it that like smoky feel to it. Because
Right.
yeah, I don't like to edit my images like in after I take it. I normally just take the shot because I feel like tampering with it could just like sometimes damage the image. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it was the no filter, and I don't know, for me when it comes to the black and whites in all types of photo mode, I feel like it brings that sense of it looks more realistic than the color, because sometimes in the video games the color could can be a bit like plasticky in a way, and you can see, okay, um the coloration is not like 100% like it looks real. whereas in black and white it's timeless, and um, it it just brings out that that mood that you're looking for at the end of the day. And I really enjoy my black and whites. So,
Mhm.
which I try not to do a lot, but it's very hard for me. I think I'm addicted.
I think there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right. I know someone else who likes black and whites.
You do? I don't. I have no idea what you're talking about.
We all have our problems. It's
It's not a.
okay to admit them.
It's not a problem. It's a it's an opinion. Like it's a, and I don't think. I sometimes I think well I should do less black and white because I mostly do that. But then again, why? Like if that's what I feel like is good for the shot or what I want to have, then yeah, then I just go with black and white. Like who cares?
It was like the other day, no, it was yesterday. I was actually playing Uncharted 4, and then I was in the one area with the cave with the torches with Nathan and Elena. And then I was like, oh, I need to get some like really great shots. And instantly I go to black and white. And then but I like spend hours, and it's like you go through all the filters, and then you sit there and you're like, you start off with black and white, and then you adjust and everything, and you're like, oh wait, you know what, just let me check out the filters first before I take the screenshot. And you go through all the filters, right? And you're like, no, black and white, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah, I have that happen a lot. Like, okay, I go through all the filters, and you end up with the same one every time. And even if it's black and white or another one on No Man's Sky, I have one favorite filter, and I think they have like 10 or 12. I don't know. It's massively amount of filters, and you always end up with one. It's just same with Jedi Fallen Order. They have like I don't know 10 different filters. I always use just one.
I feel like that's with every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think so. It's also like with Horizon Zero Dawn, there's quite a few filters as well, but I'll end up with the black and white, or I might just use the oh, what's the filter's name now?
I like
The
the
one that pops the
cross something.
I'm not sure.
Crossplay or
It's
something.
Cross process, I think it's called, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's
cross
a few of them.
processing.
There's like
Yeah,
two or
that
three,
one.
yeah.
That's the one
And
I
then I
often
did-
end up.
Yeah. Spider-Man has a cross process, which is really nice too. Yeah, no, some of the filters that they add in these games are pretty sweet. But yeah, I love this shot. It's just a great shot, and I like that it's vertical. I like that crop and everything. So they did a really nice job on that.
yeah, it was actually
go
very
ahead.
difficult to get the shots,
Yeah.
especially with the
But-
camera positioning.
Yeah. Do you have to like rotate it and look at it sideways and stuff, or in that game?
Well, oh yeah, it's I don't know. I find it's very difficult because the camera like jumps out of position sometimes because it's not like free. You like
It's
you
an
have free
orbit, isn't
range.
it?
Yeah, it is, and
Oh.
it like jumps out, and you're like, no, I just got the perfect position, and then you have to like move so slightly every time, and it like kills me because I get so angry. I just get it right, and then it just instantly pops out by itself, and you're like, I hate you, camera.
That's why I stopped playing The Last of Us 2. It does the same thing. So I just stopped playing the game because I couldn't work with that camera.
But it's the same with all Naughty Dog's like photo mode. It's all similar. Like even with Uncharted 4 the other yesterday, I was like having major problems, and then it's like you have to find a wall to make sure the camera stays still. I don't know if you guys find that. If you like, I don't. It makes it sound so weird. Like you in the game and you're placing the camera on the wall, and then you're like moving it. and then it like stays in the perfect position just to like zoom in as close as you can to the character, because I also find that was difficult, especially in this game, is getting that very close aspect, especially with Chloe. It's like you have to find the perfect angle for you to zoom in as close as possible. And not a lot of people can actually get those shots unless you're really patient and have a lot of time to waste and get frustrated with the camera.
I definitely agree with that.
Oh, that's funny.
I think like if you take like real photography and like virtual photography, it's like, oh, like I'm a real photographer because it's like a point and shoot situation, and you're like, well, not in virtual photography. You have to do so much work, and it takes so long just to do all of it. It's like crazy.
Oh, but it's
Yeah.
the same in real photography. Like the angles you keep yourself at to get the perfect image, it's the same thing.
Well, yeah, like if you compare like your composition and like how you have like that story in mind, how you want to take the shots and everything, and you're um that's all the same, but like the camera tools and
Right.
all of that it's not the same as holding a camera in your hand.
No,
It's way
definitely not.
different.
But
And
from being frustrated with how cameras work and how some things you have to hold your hand. Like I tried setting up a tripod for a family portrait on Christmas. It took a while. It
my
worked, but it
tripod,
took a while.
I also have a tripod. It's like a Monfoto, and it's like super heavy, um, especially like for your camera bag, because majority of the camera bags have a section where it says, "Oh, this is the strap to strap your tripod in." And then I look at it, and I look at my tripod, and I'm thinking, my tripod is a monster. It will never fit in the strap. It's like, how flimsy and small must those tripods be to actually like strap on a backpack? And then I actually have an entire like suitcase just for my tripod
Oh
because
wow.
it's so big and heavy. Um, but yeah, that thing is like so strong. It's been through so much. It's been through the desert in Namibia and everything with me. It's like you have to have a set of muscles with all the camera equipment that you lug around. It's crazy. So when it comes to virtual photography, it's like just the control in your hand, and you're like, I can sit back, relax, and just take my time. And I don't have to wait for the sun and the perfect moment for that perfect lighting to come out. I can just like move it and change it myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anybody has? Does anyone have any other comments, or we're good?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Yes.
Because if she's underwater, that means that the peaceful expression she has on her face is actually her holding her breath, right?
Right.
I actually forgot about that. No, oh my goodness. No, I think it's the smiling filter, like the facial expression of her smiling.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, I was actually shocked that you could actually change her facial expressions underwater.
What?
Oh, that's
Because,
nice.
yeah, so her natural facial expression was actually her like with trying to hold her breath, because I actually left her to the point where she was going to drown. Is that
Nice.
yeah. I'm not evil or anything. It's just like I was really trying to get that like gasping for air shot, you know. But and I never got to that. I think I died. I did. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything more. That how I torture the characters.
We all did that. Don't
We
worry.
don't
We all
judge.
did
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
And you can Carmoves, of course, on Twitter under Radier underscore warrior. You're you do cross mediums. You do real world photography, illustration. There's some illustrations on your feed, and of course VP. It looks like you're currently working on Uncharted and a lot of Tomb Raider stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Check her out on Twitter, guys. It's really good. Next.
All right. Next up, we have Matt, or MDeverVP, with a shot from Horizon Zero Dawn. Well, he can sadly not be here because he's working, and but he gave us some written remarks. And this one's actually special because we didn't choose it. Matt chose it himself because his whole set had 4 images from Horizon Zero Dawn, and the whole set was titled "Change Will Not Come in a Single Sunrise," which is, as I found out, a quote from the game. And he commented on it, saying that all of the photos have multiple meanings for the theme and for him personally. And he went with Horizon Zero Dawn because for a lot of reasons. And all of this kind of made us curious to know all of the stories, but of course we can't tell all of them. And all of the photos were equally beautiful. So we said that, well, you pick the shot you want to talk most about. And he picked this one, which is titled "A World Worth Fighting For," which gave me another Disney earworm. Nice. So his statement goes like this. Hello, Matt, aka the artist formerly known as Bored Aloy here. I am thrilled to be featured in the final installment of the show. I'm also happy to be able to discuss a shot from Horizon, as it's my favorite game. I knew I had to go all in on it for the last show. He says it was hard for him to choose between the 4 shots, especially since one of them was a Bored Aloy shot. But just the fact that they're from Horizon Zero Dawn allows him to explain some of the multiple meanings he was referring to. He believes that new beginnings could be a central theme of the game. And we have Aloy, who is an outsider her entire life, until a tragic and fateful event sets her on her path to discover the answers to questions that have always haunted her. I'm just gonna say that from here on, there might be a couple of spoilers for the game. I know the game is like 5 years old, and there's hardly anyone who hasn't played it, but I got a couple of games spoiled for me, which I then never finished because of that, so I just wanted to say that now. So if you really have not played the game and are very, very cautious about it, you might want to mute now and like unmute us for the next shot, maybe. I'm trying to keep it as light and obscure as possible, so you can basically listen to it and still not know nothing, but I just wanted to say that. Alright, so Matt goes on with that event, the Proven, serve as the first of many new beginnings for Aloy on her own. It doesn't stop with Aloy though, and her actions in the world allow for other individuals and even entire tribes to start to experience their own new beginnings. Between helping Eren come to terms with losing someone dear to allowing the Karja tribe to move on from the Shadow Karja, and the Eclipse cult, to getting the Nora to branch out of their sacred lands, there's no shortage of ways both Aloy on her own experiences new beginnings herself and serves as a vessel for others to experience their own. And I gotta say, I was kind of surprised by this explanation, but very gladly so, because it's much more complex and emotional than what I had first in mind. I totally agree with him that new beginnings is a core point of the game, but my interpretation for it was a lot more obvious and kind of upfront and less emotional. I was thinking of the whole background story itself, like the Zero Dawn project that was created in order to repopulate the world after it had been destroyed. So basically, the basis for the whole game is a new beginning itself. And now, I do have to make a huge confession at this point, because I am myself am totally not a fan of this background story. Like, I believe it's selfish of humanity to think they deserve to be reborn after what they did. And basically the whole, I'm not a fan of the whole Zero Dawn project, and I think it really shouldn't have happened. So, but seeing Matt's interpretation of all the new beginnings, or the new beginnings as motive, started only after all of this had happened. I only focused on all the emotional changes this new civilization made, and it made me think a bit more closely about this. And in general, I'm a very realistic person, and some might say pessimistic, actually. And I do think history repeats itself. It's very applicable, but it takes extreme effort to teach humanity new tricks. So I think this basic negative impression of the whole Zero Dawn project made me overlook all the small good changes that actually happened during the story. So I gotta say a big thank you to Matt for opening my eyes to all these again. Like being reminded of all the small positive gestures in an overall might have been bleak world is very important, and his words made me remember that. So that's kind of really nice.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. I love sort of the autumn feel of it, and just like how she's in this field and it sort of goes up into the horizon. It's a pretty shot.
Yeah, funny enough, the story of the shot itself plays into the theme of new beginnings of himself too. Well, he says that on a more personal note, this one will always stick out to me as it was the first result of hopping back in after a time when I was having doubts about VP and if and how I wanted to keep going. So he says that all artists go through this at some extent, and while it may seem like the passion is fading, you then go back just for one more try, and oftentimes you find a renewed love for the craft. And this was one of these moments, because he says as Aloy walked through the grass and her hand started running through it, he knew that he had something special, and thus a new beginning for VP and himself started. And he goes on with her natural pose of running her hand through the grass as she walks also evokes a sense of renewed purpose and determination, one which I shared when capturing the shot. The sun is also often seen as a symbol of rebirth and hope, and the sunlight cast upon Aloy here add to the imagery of new beginnings.
Oh, nice. It's beautiful. Okay, well, great. That's from Matt. You can find him on Twitter and Flickr. And most of his images are Horizon Zero Dawn. You can find images and videos. There's some like nice little videos that he's pulled from the game. And he had an awesome ego boost in early January. Gorilla, the maker of Horizon Zero Dawn, shared his work. So congratulations on that, Matt. That's awesome. You can also see his work in Returnal and Kena, again on Twitter and Flickr. Okay, next.
I want to add, because he wants to make a shout out for the community, basically. He says that the game itself was a new beginning for him because that's the one that made him start with VP, and that made him discover the community. And it's only fitting that for this last show, I want to toast this truly beautiful community and the positivity that radiates through it. Thank you also to you both for doing this show for as long as you have, but all good things must end. So here's to another new beginning of whatever comes next.
Oh, that's
Isn't
sweet.
that sweet?
Oh, it's so sad. No, that's beautiful. What a beautiful thought. No, it's lovely. Thank you, Matt. Nice.
Right. So next up, we have Adam with a shot from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. So I think with this shot, this is kind of like when you get out of the training area, I suppose, because this is just when you come out of Colta. So it's when the gangs obviously got their shit together.
Well, they
And
never
they're
got their
mov-
shit together.
Well, they're trying to get their shit together, I suppose, and they're kind of moving out of the snow, which I think everyone was like super thankful for. But it kind of, I guess, when you get to this point, like because Colter was kind of, to an extent, it was kind of like I say a training ground, but when you kind of come out of the snow, you kind of get a sense of how this game is going to be. There's like as you get just past this bit after you, because just after this shot, it goes into a cutscene where the wheel falls off, and then you have to obviously pick the wheel back up and put it back on. But then after that, it kind of goes into there's a really nice song that plays, and I think that you kind of get a real sense of just how good this game is going to be. So yeah, I was just trying to capture that really. There's a lot of dicking about, which is what I tend to do with pictures. It's kind of converted it to black and white, and then in Photoshop, just kind of added a filter to it through. There's a thing called split toning in one of the camera raw filter, it's called, where you can kind of choose what tone you put on the picture, and I love that. It's almost tobacco kind of vibe. This one maybe not so much, maybe in some of the other pictures that I've done where it's that real tobacco sunburst kind of feel to it. But it just kind of captures that new beginning of the gang getting out of the snow, heading down the mountain, and getting into a load of more trouble. But yeah, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. So I think it's Arthur and Hosea that's on the wagon. And it's a great little area with the map. It's Cumberland Falls, so
I think I've got my shag around there.
Yeah, maybe. It just sums up. I think that whole
Pond?
area. It's got Cumberland Falls, and then as you go down, it's kind of like towards Valentine. But for me, that whole area is, it just sums up that game so well. And if you get it at the right, if you get there at the right time, you can get some really cool shots. And I think that's what I do love about Red Dead, in a sense that, or games where you can't change the time of day. I mean, it's great to have that option because it's like, something like with Horizon, for example, you can change the time of day, and you'll kind of scan through from the time that you're at, and then all of a sudden you'll get to like either daybreak or the sunset, and it's just like pop. You just get that, the rays coming through or whatever. But the thing with Red Dead is you can't change the time of day in the photo mode, so you kind of it almost makes it a little bit more of kind of like
a hunt.
Yeah, like almost like, I guess, real photography, in a sense that you need to be in the right place at the right time to get that picture. Like there's some days where I've literally spent so long thinking of a shot, and then you want it to be like a sunrise, so you sleep, you don't quite get the shot, so you have to sleep again, but then you can only sleep so many times before he says, oh, you've slept too many times, you need to wait now. So then you have to sit and wait until you can sleep again. So it kind of adds that element of, like I say, being in the right place at the right time, where sometimes where you can change the time of day, sometimes it feels like not cheating, but it does it makes things a lot easier. Whereas with this, it's very much, you've got to really plan, right, what time is it? Okay, the sun's going to be coming up. Like Blackwater is a prime example. If you get just outside of Blackwater, kind of looking towards it at 6, 7 in the morning, that is when the sun's coming up, and you can get some like incredible shots at that point. But if you're not there at that time, you're going to miss it. And I think that's, yeah. So I was just lucky, and then obviously I just did my usual trick of dicking around in Photoshop for quite a long time until I got the right color and the tone, and it just kind of worked. And with this obviously being the last show, I thought, you know what, I've got to put something in for it. So yeah, I thought this one kind of
thank you.
no problem. Yeah, this one kind of worked because, like I say, it's them coming out of Coulter, heading. I suppose it is a new beginning because it's when everything kind of, the game really begins once you get to Horseshoe Overlook. Yeah, and I was quite lucky actually because literally when I came out of the photo mode, I think within like 2 seconds it went into the cutscene. So if I'd have left it any longer, I would have missed it.
I love how you just basically casually name dropping the places on the Red Dead map, like everyone knows where that is.
They do. I know you do. I know maybe you don't.
I know we do, yes, but
yeah, well, I may have played that game quite a lot. I think this is actually my 5th playthrough.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I was just kind of, I think last year I played quite a lot of games that didn't have great photo modes or didn't have photo modes at all. And I just wanted to play a game that had quite a nice photo mode and you could get good shots from. And I'd finished the story again, and I'd started it, but I was in Coulter and I was like, oh, I just need to get out of Coulter because it's not the best place to be in terms of shots. And then over Christmas I was like, you know what, let me just get out of Coulter, and then I'm in the proper open world, if you know what I mean. And that's basically where this one came from, is that I finally got out of Coulter and was like, right, I can start properly like looking around the map and starting the game again.
Yeah. It's a beautiful shot, and I selected it because I like the colors really spoke to me, and that whole sort of golden tint, just from a color point of view, and sort of shades of yellow or whatever, to me kind of represents like a new beginning. It's just sort of a bright, warm color, and the whole concept of just sort of the thing I like about Red Dead is just sort of not only the team going from one section to another in the map, and trying to go like, okay, now we're gonna get our stuff together and we're gonna do, you know what I mean? They just have all these sort of goals that just keep like not really working out well for them, which is sort of a concept. And then just in general with Red Dead Redemption is sort of the US based manifest destiny of going into the West and taking over, and which was fueled by the gold rush and things like that. And so it's just like a nice game. It's a beautiful game. There's layers of meaning in that, and I really love that. And then I think the composition works really well, just because you have this. I like the fact that you went into sort of that whole grayscale look, but you have this sort of darkness on the right and the bottom, and then it has this diagonal and the body language of the characters and stuff, and it's just a beautiful shot, and the landscaping and the trees work really well.
You get some good conversation on the way to where you're going. I think even before you get on the wagon, Dutch says something about, oh, you and Hosea can go together because I know you like to bitch about me or something along those lines. Yeah, you just, I bet there's so many untold stories that Arthur and co could kind of you know, if you were sat around the campfire, it's like you'd just be there forever listening to what they've got to say.
Yeah, it's and it's such a deep game. It definitely is a game. I feel like when they designed it for people to play over and over, because as you play over and over, you get different experiences through it. And I was watching this video of how even Arthur, based on his, I forgot what it was called, but
Like
whether
the
he's
honor,
like the
if he's
honor,
good or
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
completely changes the way he interacts with people he comes across and or talks to them, and it goes so much as to even change his dead eye, the way his dead eye sounds and the brightness and things like that. And I'm like, I mean, just trying to imagine the structure of trying to tell these developers, here's the structure of this this line, and this line of story. It must have just been like crazy to try to keep all that together, but they managed to do that so well. And so as you play through it repeatedly, it almost encourages you to do that, which is really nice.
Yeah. I always say that I'm gonna do like a bad Arthur, and then I start playing it, and I'm like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah,
He's just not the type for it. I think even if you wanted to, you just look at him. It's like he's not a bad guy.
You know,
right.
it's the same with I played, what was that game? Detroit Becoming Human,
Yeah.
or whatever it was. So I played that game and I played it through, and I was like, right, I'm gonna play it again, but I'm gonna like do it differently. And
You
after
just
about an
can't.
hour, I
Yeah.
just was like, there's a bit where you're in the bar, I think, and you have to decide whether you're gonna buy this guy a drink or something. And I still did the same decision that I did the first time, and I was just like, this is just gonna play out the same way I've done it before. Because that's just, I just can't do it. Like, I can't become a bad Arthur. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like every time I play it, it's got to have full armor, and yeah, it just can't be. That's just, I guess it's just not me. It's
I
not
think
my
it's also
Arthur.
not Arthur. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine Arthur being bad. It's just
Yeah,
not him.
the video I watched was fascinating because it eventually it even changes the clothes he gets. So
Oh.
like it changes the vest options like in different events if they give you clothes or whatever. And it's not just like not to poop on Assassin's Creed, but you know, they're like, oh, should I go see this person over here, or should I go see this person or do this? And then that in the end it doesn't even really necessarily change the story, whatever you pick. But in this game it literally changes the story and the play. Like even the comparison between a bad Arthur and a good Arthur's Deadeye, and the heartbeat, like the good Arthur's, you can hear his heart beating during Deadeye because he's so like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah, it's really clever how they've done it.
Anxiety because I have to kill someone, whereas the bad Arthur's like, yeah, let's get this on. Like it's just a completely different feeling throughout the entire game. And that's a lot of people dedicated to that game. I mean, that just trying to pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them credit, because if you play like Cyberpunk, for example, when you get the choices, you know, when you go through the dialogue, it doesn't make any difference which choice you make. It makes no difference to how it's actually going to play out. So yeah, for them to be able to do how they've done it with the honor system on this, it's
I mean, the storyboard must have just been insane. Like I'm like already tired of thinking about like.
But as you say, it's not just the story, because I mean, Origin has different endings depending on a couple of choices you make. But with this one, it's a lot of levels, because it's not just the story that changes; it's the whole world, the whole gaming world. Every NPC, everything that happens kind of reacts to your different choices.
Oh, absolutely. Like just just watching the interaction, they were showing footage of him just walking by people, not even like talking to them. And the bad author was just like, it was amazing because he would say like, "Get out of my way" or whatever. And then the NPCs would be like, "I'm sorry, excuse me." And they were much more apologetic. Whereas when you're playing the good Arthur, and he's coming through and he's like, "Hey sir, how you doing? Leave me," the NPC's response was, "Leave me alone. Don't mess with me." So the attitude of the NPC changes as Arthur deals with them,
Right.
which I was like, and even when he's killing people, his dialogue is different.
And they even transported it to online because the NPCs will act differently to you depending on your outfit or your style, like your hairstyle.
Exactly.
Like I changed, or your horse. I think I changed my hairstyle, and suddenly everyone was nice to me.
Yeah, I think I'm rather like, "What the hell are you wearing?" It's like, "What?"
Right. It's like,
I look
what?
good, no? Clearly not.
No, I mean, to me, that's not only dedication, that's really, you have a team. You have a design team who developed this that loved that game so much and that concept that they made it that deep. I mean, that's just really powerful. So, and I feel like this image that you did is just really powerful. It's a great example of new beginnings and where they're going into, and just the lighting was the right choice. It's just beautiful. Good job. So you can find Adam on Twitter also. And you just finished Chorus, right?
I've not quite finished it, to be honest. I'm on I think I'm probably about 90% through with it. But that game, honestly, Chorus, I know it's like going off on a bit of a tangent, but that game, I don't know where it came from. Like my brother Mark, he like bought it, and I was like, and I seen a couple of pictures. I was like, "What the hell is that?" And it was like, "Oh yeah, it's some space game." But it didn't really seem to get any.
No, it doesn't have much traction on it. Although
like,
it looks really
it just came out of
beautiful.
nowhere, and it was like, holy shit! And then he bought me it for Christmas, and yeah, it's a really, really good game if you're into kind of your. It's kind of like if anyone played Battlefront 2 or Battlefront the first one, where you had the fighter squadron. It's kind of like that. But it's only like 30 quid as well. So, well, 30 UK pounds, which is a bargain, really. Do you know what I mean? For a PS5 game. So, yeah, if you're into that kind of space, kind of, dogfight, flying around sort of stuff, definitely worth getting.
Yeah. So, check his Twitter feed out. You can see some nice shots from Chorus, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2. And he is also with the hashtag Kings of Shangri-La. And you're on Twitch.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I've kind of not been on it that much. So don't expect too much content. But yeah, maybe this year I'll get back on that.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Next.
All right, and next up and last one we have Neo, which with a game from something which is often sadly overlooked or quite niche in the WP world, despite having like stunning graphics, which is a racing game. Need for Speed Payback, and her set was also combined with a song, which was New Beginnings by Future World Music. I'll also put the link down in the description so you can check out the song and have a listen while you look at Neo's photos. Alright, so
I love this picture. This is great.
It's awesome, right?
This
Neo,
tell
us about the shot and the link to New Beginnings and the song and the experience of doing photography in racing games.
Well, first off, maybe you won't like this, but this is a very old shot. It's one of my first shots I took in this game. So I didn't took it specifically for the team, but when I read it was New Beginning, I knew that this shot I had to share it for this theme. I knew it
Perfect.
had to be in my set. Yeah, I started Need for Speed. I had it for quite some time, and I kind of forgot about it. But when I started it, I found out that there was a photo mode. I didn't know about that, but there is a photo mode, and it's awesome. The photo mode, you can do so many things in it, and for me at least, you don't even have to edit your shot afterward. So I find it great because you have lots of different options. The only missing options is just like in Red Dead Redemption 2, you can control the time of the day. So for this shot, I had to drive around the map for like hours because the sun sets very fast, but it's very long day and very long night, and you have a very very short time window to get a sunset.
That's a bit
So
like
you have
Red
to,
Dead too, yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't it make it? It makes it so much more satisfying though when you get
Right.
that.
Oh yeah, when
You
you get
know.
the shot, you're like so happy, but you know that if you want to do it again, you're gonna have to drive like for hours on the
Yeah.
map.
Hopefully, when you switch it on, it's like it's some, you know, you're at that point. You're like, yes,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, it's a bit of the opposite of Isin shots with mine because hers was 1/3 of light. Mine is like 2/3 of light and 1/3 in shadow, and with the car. And I choose this for New Beginning because when you're on the road, you can always see in the rear mirror your past, what you have driven behind you, and I was very happy with the position because you can look at the horizon, but it's you can't go straight. You have to turn. You have to turn right, and that's a bit like Isin shot. You go into the unknown, and you have to start a new beginning on a new part of the road, which you don't know where you're going to. If you're just like me, you're driving on the map and you have no point, no purpose. But you're going there anyway. You're gonna start and you're gonna drive again, and it's what you're going to do next. So and with the lights guiding you, even if it's a sunset, you know there's gonna be another day. So that's why I chose this shot. That's why I knew I had to share for the theme, and that's pretty much it.
That's just perfect because basically I could repeat everything you said because I saw all that in that image. So as
Oh,
always,
great.
I could have selected probably all of the photos you had in your set because they were all just exquisite and last minute,
Thanks.
just as always.
Yeah, yeah.
Exquisite at
Yeah.
last minute, perfect. And I had a hard time deciding between this one and the one from Steep. But
Yeah.
something just drew me to this one, and after I figured out what it was, it's actually quite simple. It's the car, and that's
Yeah.
because exactly as you say, for me, so I hate driving, and I don't like to travel by car. But for some reason, which I really can't define, cars in my mind are the basic representation of freedom. So it might be that
It
I
is, yeah.
watched too many road movies, or that I grew up on the countryside where you had to have a car, basically, and that meant freedom because you don't have to rely on your parents to drive you somewhere. I don't know, but cars are just somehow freedom. Maybe it's car commercials always sell it as that too.
I
No,
think it's
that's it.
that
That's
thing as
exactly
well
what
when
I'm.
you.
Yeah.
That's on, go on. When you pass your driving test, it's like I'm free, I'm out, I'm going.
Right, right. All in all, I think there is a lot of symbolism in the image that speak to me. And it's all of the symbols that show moving forward and not backwards. So it's the car itself, it's the arrow with pointing, and even there's a small little bird in there that's just flying around at the top of it, and it's the sun, which is also moving. So all of them point to moving forward. without stopping. And as you said, the car is only half of the screen, and it's also very dark and black. Um, and it covers a lot of the environment, and you can't really see where it's driving or where it's heading, because it's doing this turn. And then again, as you said, somehow comparable to Isen's image, it's moving into the unknown, but without fear, without doubt, and at full speed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I also want to extra compliment the color work on the image, because it has just the right amount of colors and play with contrast to make exact the right focal points pop out, but still give it a very calm feeling. So it has a very limited palette, but it still has enough colors and warm colors to have that color composition add up to the reassurance of moving forward, but not being afraid of doing so.
Yeah, that's one of the good thing in Need for Speed Payback photo mode. You can adjust the colors just whether you want it light or more contrasted. You can really do whatever you want in that photo mode. That's really cool.
Sweet. Well, there's also some nice little detail that the backlights of the car and the arrow, they basically have the same shape. So which kind of brings them close together and binds them together, connecting them and leading your eye with both of these arrows pointing to the right along the road and out into the future.
Yeah, I got kind of lucky on that because I took several shots of the same place before I found the right angle, and when I had the arrow of the tail signal and then the road sign, I said I was very happy because I said that's it, that's the same, that's that's really cool.
Did you try doing that with like several different cars?
Yeah, I tried different angle, but you just sometimes you just have one angle that works, and the rest is it's really bad, and you always have to try different things to end up with one thing that you like.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a good pick.
It's really good. I really like it, man. I like the way the contrast from dark to light, and then kind of starts to tail off again. It's really good. Even the composition of the car, kind of, you've got the kind of, it's not quite half. It's almost that third of the picture with the car, and then the rest of it, where the light's coming through, and almost even the little arrow in the background. I think really it's just perfect. It's kind of like directing, where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, really well
and
composed.
as I think like with the darkness as well, as it pops that slight bit of color as well. So because you have like so much shadow in the photograph, it actually pops that soft like sunset pink color. And I think with the sun and as representing the light and the shadow behind the car, and then also like you can see the shadow in the rear view mirrors, like you're driving away from that into the light, into the sunset, for a new beginning. So yeah, when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is actually a really good shot. So this is amazing.
Well, and I love the mountains too, and how they transition in different shades as you go from left to right, which kind of reiterates that movement going that way.
Exactly. Yeah, they kind of fall out to the right and follow that curve.
Right, which is really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, and it's like because you're like heading on like some kind of path, no path is actually straight at the end of the day.
Right.
And no one actually knows what's going to happen, and that pathway can curve or like split up into two. So yeah, it's like actually giving you that thinking of, oh, what's just around the corner. So, and then yeah, it's just the composition at the end of the day was really, really planned out and thought, and I think it's a really stunning shot, Neo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Perfect.
you very much.
You can find Neo Fulcrum on Twitter and Flickr, and it looks like you're doing some really fun stuff with the toy photography, the captured collection theme.
Oh yeah, all the Lego stuff. Those are
Yeah.
awesome. I love them.
They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, thanks.
Star Wars themed, awesome. And then there you can also find on our feed. It looks like you played the game The Crew 2.
Yep, I just started it. Yeah.
Oh, did you? You started that, so there's some shots from there, and Odyssey, and some really nice ones from Origins and Spider-Man. So check her out. And then that is it, Miss Alma.
Yeah, that is it for this show. But to put it all together, we kind of made a little thing to commemorate our past time with you folks and say a big, huge, enormous thank you to everyone who's been supporting us on this adventure. From the start or from the middle or somewhere in between, we don't care. Just a big thank you. And we are totally amazed by how far we've gone with this. I mean, 54 people who've been here live talking about their art. That's just amazing and just a lot of love. And 1,309 total views of the videos is more than I imagined. I thought we'd get like 5. Just from the people who've been here, basically. Yeah, thanks very much, and this was our last show. For the time being, because you never know, we might pick that up later again. In the meantime, we're having some other things to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You really want me to put it out there? You really want me to, right?
I don't know. I mean,
waiting for this.
That's the only reason I'm here. I'm joking. It's not.
No, I'm gonna put it out there and say that I'm having a baby this year, so this is why we'll actually stop in the show because I will be busy otherwise.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, congratulations!
Congratulations!
Thank you. So whenever I'll have more time, it might be that we pick up the photo rave.
Yeah, probably in about 10 years.
I don't know, like 18 years or so.
Yeah.
Well, we might do other Dame stuff, which don't involve that much work, so we'll keep you posted. Just stay tuned.
I think we also want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to come here and show off our work, I guess.
Yeah, I always think putting these things together, doing themes and shows and stuff, it takes a lot of work. So yeah, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, even if it's art torture, we thank you. We thank you very much for this show.
Yeah, like your heart beats for days before you even come on the show. But when you start getting into it, it's you get used to it and you start calming down. And I think just with the two of you, you bring this atmosphere and this calm to the show, and you just make it all fun for everyone to join in and just open up, because I know I can be super quiet. So
yeah, I have that as well.
Oh, we didn't see any of that.
so I have to say, you guys got me to talk quite a lot. So even though this is actually my second time on the show and it's probably going to be the last, well, we never know what the future holds, but you guys are amazing, and what you've done is spectacular, and I can only wish you all the best for the future to come.
Aww.
So thank you.
That's the sweetest. Thank you so much. Well, we might seem like super calm and relaxed during the show, but we're just good at acting.
Very good.
We're just as nervous as everyone else with the beginning.
Yeah.
I think the thing you've got to remember with this stuff is I mean, I'm sure all of you are like super passionate about virtual photography, love talking about it. And I think that when you come onto stuff like shows like this, it gives you that chance to actually talk passionately about
Exactly.
it. And it's kind of like you're saying, I was really nervous before I came on, but then when you got into it, you're like, you know, I didn't think anyone sounded nervous. I think everyone, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, because it finally you can actually talk about it and, you know, really, you know, dissect everyone's shots, and it's a great opportunity to be able to do that with these kind of shows, which is, yeah, which is a shame that it's ending, but you know, all good things, like I think Matt said, have to come to an end. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Nice.
You can finally nerd off with people the same nerd level.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Yeah. I'm not on my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Well, this has been just lovely. Thank you all. And sorry, do you want to say that?
No, I just said thank you too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well
Thank
then,
you.
have a good night or a good day or wherever you are. And see you.
Cool. See you later.
See you.
Okay,
Bye.
see you like probably tomorrow or something.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.